Well, I've got loads to tell you from this pickup. I'll probably forget a lot of it because my memory is so poor. So let me just try and get through it in chronological order. The time now is 10:37 and I'm now on my way to my drop-off, which is an hour and a quarter away. So I've told the shipper my ETA will be 12:30, which gives me 40 minutes leeway in case of traffic or issues on the way from what I'm actually expected to be, which is 11:50. So I'm probably going to be there about 12, to be fair. So I'll give myself sort of half an hour leeway. Right, first things first. I arrived using Google Maps at the right place. It was an industrial estate. Really, the road that it was labelled was the road I got to, which is really handy. Quite a short road. It had a numbered address plus a name. Obviously there were no numbers along the road at all, it was just names. So I put the name of the company into Google Maps as I joined the little road, and it told me exactly where it was. I drove up to exactly where it was, but the building I got to was a different name. It was a completely different name to what I was expecting. So I drove a bit further down just in case Google Maps was wrong. There was nothing with the same name on that I was expecting. So I came back to that building. I went to reception. There was a man standing at the window looking at me as I arrived, and I thought, I just someone to ask. I went into reception, and it wasn't really a reception, it was just basically a lobby with a locked door to go into the factory bit, and then another door which was like a meeting room, which is where the man was standing looking out the window. But I realised when I got in there, he wasn't just looking out the window, he was on the phone. He had his earbuds in, he was talking to someone. He was a management type figure. So I didn't want to disturb him. There was no button to press, no one, I couldn't get through the other door, so I wasn't even sure I was at the right place. So I stood at the door with a little window in and sort of made myself clear to him. He came to the door and I said, sorry, can you tell me if I'm at the right place? Showed him my name of the company I was after. He said I was. I had to go around the back. So I knew I was at the right place, which is good. Got back in my van, went around the back. There was a lorry in the middle of the road, which I kind of had to, it was half in the road but on the other side. So I went around the lorry, took the first left back to the back of the building I was going to, but it wasn't quite the right turning. The first left, I came out of the reception, drove up the road, turned left, then turned left again to get around the back of the building, but it wasn't the right, it was the wrong building I got to the back of, then back out, back around past the lorry, round to the back of the building again, into the right gates. And as I arrived, there was a man that came out of a sort of storage unit to my right. He just walked off into the factory, ignored me. Then I parked up at the goods inn, which was open, and I got in my van and I went in and I said, here to collect something. I was eventually directed to an office, goods inn office, and this really chirpy guy said, oh yes, for me. So I made a smile, and then I did the paperwork for him. I signed the paperwork for him, printed my name. I always offer, when I'm in that situation, when I'm signing paperwork, do you want me to put my vehicle reg on? I don't think anyone really cares whether I've got vehicle reg or not, but it's just a nice thing to offer. It's like a bit of transparency, isn't it, that you're offering without being asked. So I always just put down my vehicle reg because it doesn't take much more time to do that. Anyway, so he was then showed me what to load up, and he loaded up these 4 boxes. He did it himself, and while I did that, I took advantage of the time and went and had a wee in their toilets, which was really helpful because that was on my mind for that last 10 minutes. Then I came back out, and then he showed me the boxes, and he had a call. As I came out of the toilet, he either had a call from the shipper or to the shipper, and he was saying, "Oh, let the driver know," and then put the phone down. And I said, "Oh, what was that about?" And he said, "We've had problems in the past." And these are the problems he had. And I want to explain this problem because it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. What I'm carrying is 4 boxes that need to be. They came out of a fridge. They're about 12 inches square and about 1.2 metres long. There's 4 of them. And they're reasonably heavy. I've got no idea what's in them, but they have on the end, do not store, something like do not stand up and store at minus 18 degrees. And then the guy said to me that last time they had this, the driver took the items to a residential address, and the photo that he put on the system was shown on with them on their ends. Now, to be fair, if you didn't notice the sign saying "Do not stand up," it's fair enough that you might accidentally do that. So I think that's a mistake that could happen if you're not being mindful. I did ask him about the minus 18. He said it's fine. They can't be out of the fridge for more than 7 hours. So because it's only an hour and a bit journey, this is fine. And also, it's not that warm today, so it's going to be fine in the back of my van. I did check with him, and he was fine with it being my van. But the thing I don't get is, how can a driver deliver to a residential address? That surely you have to try to be incompetent to do that. Really try. That is weird. I'm going to make an assumption here, and I have no evidence to suggest, other than logic and common sense, that the reason for that is maybe the driver wasn't fluent in English. But even so, that's a really poor thing for something to happen. I'm not surprised that some shippers don't like some drivers. Anyway, so I got it. He loaded it up for me. I moved a couple of things around. I've got a box of straps which I moved out of the way so you can put all 4 lying down together. And then I thanked him and took a photo, put it on the CX. I've got a piece of paperwork for me. He's got a piece of work that he's signed that he's kept, and there's one I think in the box for the customer. So the one I've got is the one I'm going to use for my POD. Oh yeah, so that reminds me. When I started doing this job, I used to have every job I needed my own POD, whether I had paperwork or not. But I've realised now that actually there's no need for that. So if I have a piece of paperwork from the customer, I just use that for my POD only, and only if I need to. If I have nothing, do I create my own proof of delivery note. So, one last thing to say that I can remember. I got in my van and I was about to reverse out, and that forklift that you saw right at the start of this video, he sort of came behind me, so I just waited for him, and as he came behind me, very slowly, the rolls that he had on his the forklift just rolled off and fell on the floor. And so he had to get out and pick them all up and put them back in his forklift forks. And I just thought, yeah, some people are just not very diligent in their job, are they really? Anyway, so I've got the paperwork. I've put on CX that I've loaded up, given the ETA. I'm on my way to Brackley now. I should be offloaded, and I'm back looking for jobs around about 12 o'clock now, I'm guessing. So yeah, so I'll check in with you if either something else happens or I think of something else to tell you on the way to Brackley. So it's now 10:45.